Hey everybody, Scott here for the Helix channel. It's Tuesday and today more HX Effects BluGuitar Amp 1 stuff for you. And since I am one of the unlucky ones to have one of the effects loops that's noisy with the HX Effects, but I like the sound of the overdrives going into the clean channel of the Amp 1. And in a lot of ways, I prefer it because it gives a lot more flexibility than just having this tone, or this tone. And it's, being able to adjust the gain levels per snapshot, per preset, a lot easier than fiddling with things, especially the knobs on the side of the Amp 1. And I'm not taking away from the Amp 1 sound at all. I'm saying the clean sound is incredible and it pairs really well with overdrives. So today I'm going to show you 5 overdrives and then how I stack them. Not all 5. That would be nuts. But how I stack, a couple of overdrives. I'm going to give a bunch of options and examples to get great sounds. All right, I'm going to demonstrate all of these live for you, and I'm going to tell you what's going on with the preset. It's basically just a series of 6 overdrives. I said 5 earlier. There's 6. So what's going on with this particular preset? The only constants, it's just a straight line serial all the way through with the effects loop and a 10-band graphic, because I like to pull down some low end and some mid range. With this guitar, it can be kind of honky otherwise. So that to me is a great clean sound. The Amp 1, I've got the volume of the clean channel cranked all the way to 10, bass is 5, mids 4, treble 3, no reverb, master's at like 1.2. So it's plenty loud in this room with the ISO cab. I got the door open just a little bit. So I'm going to have a little bit of bleed through from string noise, but not very much because it's about 10 feet away. So it's clean, and the reason I'm able to crank the volume to 10 is because I have it set in low power mode and low impedance input. It has dropped the power and increased the headroom of the clean, which is exactly what I want. That way I can crank it to 10, put a kinky boost in front of it. The kinky boost is the first. Let me finish my diatribe over here. And the last thing is the LA Studio comp on very mildly. Peak reduction 6.0, gain 6.0, emphasis and mix are at 2.5 and 25%. So a very mild amount of, like here's the compressor off, compressor on. So the first overdrive in the line is the kinky boost, and it is, was it on already? It might have already been on. That's it on, which is great. The second one, I'm just going to do them individually first. The deranged master, I have them all set equally as well, drive at 3.0 and then a very flat response from the EQs. The deranged master has a bit of a weird, quirky wobbliness to it. It doesn't sound like it's all there. It's kind of weird. I don't love it, but I like it in conjunction with other pedals. By itself, not my thing. The KWB, which is actually technically a fuzz, but that one's got the gain rolled back to like 6.6 or something, because if you had it at 3, there would be 0 gain. It's just one of those weird pedals that way. The Scream 808, not loving the sound of that one by itself, but I need to give it a little bit more tone, I think. Maybe a little more. Yeah. it's another one that's not great by itself, but in conjunction with other pedals, you'll see. Now we're getting to the heavier hitters. The Top Secret OD. And finally, the Compulsive Drive. And the whole reason for all of this, the Compulsive Drive is the basis of all my overdrives. Whatever I add to it is what becomes the overdrive sound for me. So it by itself is never on alone, which it's a fine sound, but throw in the Kinky Boost, and then it is a fully realized overdrive. I really enjoy that. And since that is going to be the basis, I'm just going to turn on the other ones individually. The Deranged Master. By itself, not much to, to listen to, but along with the Compulsive Drive. Very cool, kind of classic-y. The KWB along with the Compulsive Drive. Interesting. Not super fuzzy yet. You got to really roll up that drive to get the real fuzziness happening. Next, the Scream. Now, I think the Scream only sounds good along with the another pedal. By itself, not so great. I like that one a lot. And finally, the Top Secret along with the, what do you call it? Compulsive Drive. And I'm kind of the mind that you might need 3 overdrives to really achieve super big, heavy lead sounds. But then again, I've only got the gains on these at 3. So, we could throw in the Kinky Boost on top of these 2. Pretty cool. The other combinations of things we can do, or that I have been doing for the last few hours, is like the Top Secret and the TS-808 Scream. It's a very cool, low gain kind of thing. Not super overdriven, but delivers a fun sound. And then, throwing the Kinky Boost on top of that would give you a pretty big lead sound, I think. Not a lot of gain, but, sort of an early 80s classic rocky lead kind of tone. Turn off the Scream. Turn off the 808. Give me the Compulsive Drive. And the Deranged Master. And the Kinky Boost. the combinations when you stack the overdrives, I mean, there's not a ton of space. You know, you've got 9 blocks here to mess around with, 8 really, because there's an effects loop. But, you know, if you have a minimalist preset, 3 overdrives would be very cool. I don't always have that kind of room. 2 is about the max for me. So what I'm going to end up doing for the most part, and I'm sort of torn between the Kinky Boost and the Kinky and the Compulsive. To me is my favorite rhythm tone. But, you know, that's low gain. Rolling up the gain on these things. Let's go over to the Kinky Boost. I'll show you what I mean. Setting them both at 4.4 and turning the boost on the Kinky Boost, and there's your lead sound right there. So I'm loving the combinations, and I think that to me it's coming down to the Kinky Boost and the Compulsive, or the Top Secret OD. Here's the Top Secret and the Compulsive. Slightly different flavor, but very similar at the same time. And it's kind of a toss-up. It's one of those where I'm going to have to try it in a live situation, or a rehearsal at least, to know if the feel is there. So stay tuned. Come on back. There you have it, everybody. Good time. HXFX Amp 1 fun. I'm going to create some preset packages using the HXFX into the clean of the Amp 1, because basically then anybody that runs an HXFX into the clean channel of an amplifier, a tube amp, or an Amp 1, will have similar, experience, similar sound. As long as you're running into the effects loop of the amp, it'll sound very similar. You could also run into the front of a Fender amp, something that just has a single channel. I did that for years, and I have my effects loop set to serial on the Amp 1, and the gate set to soft, just so there's a little bit of mild gating, so I don't have to put one on in the HXFX. But all the overdrives are so quiet on the HXFX, unless you absolutely crank the gains on them, which I don't do. But very cool stuff, and the amount of options, it's a lot more than you might think. And I'm not being saddled with an inferior unit run into the clean amp. I really enjoy it. I gotta say that I'm really enjoying the sounds and the feel, the whole 9 yards. So don't forget, you can, there's still the Black Friday sale. It's going on through the end of the year. Buy any 2 preset packages, get 2 for free, no limits, go nuts. You can get the plastic shield, the acrylic shield from Plastic Care Incorporated on my website. There's a link to my website in the description. You can still get the punk presets, any of the presets. Just go to my website. There's all kinds of stuff there for sale. But the next few weeks through the end of the year, I'm just going to be demonstrating stuff that I'm using and different ideas and things you can do with this combination right here. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Ooh, name that riff fun. That'll be interesting. So, come on back. I'll see you tomorrow. And until then, rock on.